Well, hello there, Steve M here, and today we're going to do the 30-minute car prep. When you're getting ready for a long trip, whether it's camping, whether it's hiking, or just going across country, it's very important that your car has some basic checks on it before you go to prevent a lot of hassle with something going wrong on the road. So today I'm going to show you the 30-minute car check that you should go through before you take a longer trip with your vehicle. I'm going to do it right here on my Honda CR-V. I'm going to show you some things on the outside and the front here, and then some things on the inside that's really going to help you have a better trip and make sure your car works great for you on the trip. So let's get started. Okay, we're going to start in the engine compartment. This is where I start my check when I bring my car in to give it that 30-minute look over before I take it somewhere. So we're going to check basically just a few items up here, and I'm going to go through them real quick with you. Yours may be a little bit different because it's maybe not a Honda. You can use your manual to find these items if you want, but I think these are important items to check, and I always check before I go to get to have a good trip and no car issues. The other thing you might want to have with you is a nice little flashlight so you can really see what you're looking at and give you good visibility as you check these items. All right, so we're going to start on this left side, and basically what we're doing under the hood here is we're just checking fluid levels. So you don't have to be a mechanic. These are just a couple fluid levels that you need to check. And what's nice is that on most of these things that I'm going to be going over, they have markings on them, minimum and maximum. So all you need to do is verify that the fluid is between those lines. And if it is, it's okay. And if it's not, and you can deal with it, you need to. If you can't, you need to take it to a mechanic and get it looked at. So we're going to start with this one right over here. This is the washer fluid. It usually has like a blue top to it, and it has a little picture of a windshield on it. And it's usually right over here on the left side somewhere. Yours may be a little bit different. And this is where you're going to make sure you have windshield washer fluid. Now, let me caution you. If you're going on a long trip, I suggest you put de-icer fluid in here. You can get that at most gas stations because I live in a warm environment here where it never freezes, but every time we take a long distance trip, we run into freezing weather. This will freeze up, which means you will have no washer fluid for your window as you get into salt and snow and everything else, and it's really not a nice thing. The other thing is once it freezes, it will only unfreeze once the temperature is above 32 degrees. So once it freezes, it's a real pain. You won't be able to get any washer fluid out of it. So that's the first thing you want to check. You want to fill that up, make sure you got plenty of that. The second thing you want to look at is right here. Now again, yours may be in a little different space, all right? But this is my coolant level. That cools the engine. The coolant cools the engine and provides you heat in the cabin. And again, it has a minimum and a maximum line here. It's hard to see right there. I'll take a closer shot of it. But all I need to do is verify that it's within those lines and we're good. Okay, the third thing we're going to look at is the oil. This is the oil dipstick. Again, yours may be in a little different position. And all we're going to do is verify the oil level. Now, this car does not burn any oil. I can take it on a 1,000-mile trip. I don't have to carry extra oil. But if your car burns oil, you may want to carry some extra oil with you. So we're going to check this, and all we're going to do is make sure that it's in between the lines on the dipstick. And if it's in between these two lines on my dipstick, I'm good, okay? I don't need to worry about it. But you want to check your oil before you leave. Being low on oil is not a good thing. And again, you don't want to have to stop and search out these things when you're on a trip. It takes time, it's frustrating, and you may be in a place where you're just not able to do it. So there's one last thing we're going to look at under here. Okay, the last fluid level we're going to check, this is your master brake cylinder. It usually sits right in front of the driver, okay, right by the firewall in front of the driver. And this is where your most of your brake fluid resides, right here. And again, we're not going to mess with the brakes. You don't have to be a brake technician, but again, it has a maximum line and it has a minimum line. Mine's a little bit under here. All you need to do is verify that the fluid is between those lines, okay? This is very important when you're traveling in mountainous areas. You're using your brakes a lot, so you want to make sure that your brake fluid is not low. And if it is low, you need to address it by yourself or with a mechanic to make sure that that's proper. But these are very quick checks. They don't take very long to do, but you're going to be glad you checked them once you get on the road. So now let's move to the outside of the vehicle. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to check all four tires. One of the basic things you'll always check before a trip is the air pressure on your tires. Now, most newer cars have a low pressure warning device on tires that you'll get if the tire goes low. But the problem is it's such a hassle on the road, you don't want to take that chance. A lot of gas stations, the air pumps don't even work depending on where you are. It's a hassle. You're going to lose time. So it's well worth your effort to check the tire pressure before you leave and get the tires at the proper pressure. And having a good gauge is a must. I keep this in the glove compartment of each car, and that way I always have one when I'm out, but I always check the tire pressure before I leave, and I'll show you where you get the tire pressure, the correct tire pressure for your car. It's actually on the other side of the vehicle. This is the driver's side door. As you look into the right on the inside of the driver's side door, there is a sticker there that's required, and in that sticker it's going to show you what your tire pressure is. So you can see for mine, the front and rear tires is 33 psi, and the rear is 30 psi from the sticker. Now yours is going to be a little bit different, but that's where you'll find the pressure, and that's the pressure that you should put in the tires. And don't forget, when you're checking your tires, check your spare. That one usually needs the air the most than all the other tires. But that's important. If you get stuck, you get a flat tire, you want that spare to have air in it. So don't forget the spare. The second thing you should do is check your tire depth. Now, the depth of the tires is very important because that's a safety issue, a safety item. So one of the easiest ways to check it, I know some people online say use a dime or use a penny. Now, get a little tire gauge, one of these little things right here, and it's very simple. I'll show you this. It has a green bar, it has a yellow bar and a red bar. And basically you just put it on the tire, you press a button, and then it shows you how much tread depth you got left on your tire and whether it's in the green range, the yellow range, or the red range. Okay, now these are newer tires. These come out to 9 on this little gauge here. They're well within the safety area of it. But check your tires. You know, you're going to be in all kinds of weather on longer distance trips, especially if you get into mountains. You don't want to be slipping around. You don't want to take chances. If your tires are in the yellow to red range, you really should get them looked at before going on a long trip. So I'm going to check all 4 tires, and then we'll move to the next item. By the way, I will put a link to this in the description below so you can get one of these for yourself. Before I leave the wheels, one more thing I wanted to talk about, and that is brakes. If you're going to be going on mountain passes, like we do quite frequently here because we live near them, they can go up to 10,000 feet, and there's a lot of braking that goes on a mountain pass, especially going downhill. I strongly suggest, if you haven't had your brakes checked in at least 2 years, that you get your brakes checked. Now, this is not part of the 30-minute check, but just thinking as you're going around it, when's the last time I had my brakes checked? Because when you get on these mountain passes and it might be raining or snowing, you're going to be very happy that you got your brakes checked and you know that they're working, because it really puts a strain on your brakes going down these hills, big hills. Okay, we've done the wheels, we've done the front engine. Now, another thing, we're going to move into the front of the cabin of the vehicle. And I want to show you a filter in your vehicle that is what you breathe through when you're in the car. So on a long trip, this is called the cabin filter. Now mine is right behind the glove box. It's really easy to get to. You just push these sides in and it is right there. So I'm going to pull it out and look at it, and I suggest you do the same because you're going to be breathing that for a long time on your trip. Now that is your cabin filter where you breathe air when you're on your trip. Again, yours may be a little bit different depending on the kind of car you have, but as you can see, mine's pretty clean. If you've changed yours in the last year, you probably don't need to worry about it. This one is very clean. I've probably changed it recently, so I'm not going to worry about this. I'm just going to put it right back in. It takes literally a minute to check this and to make sure you're breathing nice, clean air during your trip. And as far as inside the vehicle, the other thing I want to mention is always have a good flashlight on you. I know all the iPhones have the ability to have a little light, but have a nice flashlight that has a nice spotlight. If you get into a problem and you have to look at something under the car or under the vehicle or outside, your iPhone light's not going to be sufficient. Get a nice little flashlight, something really small that you can carry in your glove box, and that way, in case of an emergency or where you really need light, you need a good flashlight. So carry one of those, and I'll put a description below on some of the ones that I use that I find really helpful. Okay, while we're in the car, we're going to do a quick test of the wipers, make sure they're not streaking on us, and everything looks good here. And then we're going to take a quick walk around the vehicle. We're going to turn the lights on, and we're going to make sure the front headlights and the back lights, that everything's working and we don't have any issues there. Okay, and one of the last things I'm going to do is on this interior. So if we have the seats down, we have the back here. What I've started doing when we go, especially if we're camping, hiking, or with the dog, is I put an old sheet down. So before I put anything down, this sheet goes down, and then we put stuff on top of it, the dog bed and everything else. And I can tell you, we've lived out of this car for over 3 weeks on the road, and every couple days you take this, you shake it out and you put it back on, and it keeps everything underneath it nice and clean. Okay folks, that's your 30-minute car check. Everything's been checked out, everything's ready to go. We're good to start loading this car and on to our trip. Thank you for listening today. Please subscribe and hit that like button. We really appreciate it. We're on our way to 500 subscribers, and we would really love to have you as one of our subscribers. So thank you again. We'll see you here on the next video. Take care.